Hi friends, thanks for joining me. Today I am taking part in the weekly challenge over on the Hip Kit Club Facebook group, and this week it is a recipe challenge. So we have to use minimal design and at least 70% white space, the wood veneers and hexagons. So I'm going to use the fabulous hexagons, which I'm assuming, I suppose they're chipboard rather than wood veneer. But they came from the fabulous July embellishment kit. And the frames are really clever because they are kind of stacked together. So you get lots and lots of frames in the one design. And of course, the way they've been joined together, you can use them as one big, huge chipboard frame. So really clever design. Now, I am not a big white space person, so I am going to use a couple of shimmers to help me fill in some of my white space, but in a minimal way. And the first shimmer I'm going to use is the Very Hot, which came from the July colour kit. It is a stunning kind of pink, hot pink colour with maybe a slightly bluish tone to it. Really easy to use, as you can see here. I'm also using one called Purple Peony, which came in the March colour kit. And although I'm not a purple person, these two are my utter favourites at the moment. So as you can see, I've just used some water to dilute the creamies. And I'm painting straight onto white cardstock, so there's no gesso on there or anything, so really simple technique. And the first layer, I'm mixing the two colours together, so they'll be, so there's no drying in between, and they kind of really merge together, those colours. And so, because I've got no gesso on there, what I'm going to do is let that dry and then add some more layers on top, so you'll get that watercolour effect. And just while I'm letting that dry, I'm just kind of picking out more chipboard frames to use and decide which embellishments I want to use and how to lay it all up. So I'm finding that I keep putting these chipboard frames down and putting them upside down just so I can move them about more easily, and I keep getting stuck to things. So I've let that first layer dry, and I'm going to use the stamp that came with the July colour kit, which is just a kind of a texture stamp, just to add a bit more texture to that background. And by letting those layers dry, you'll get that lovely watercolour effect. So it's just tone on tone, just layering up those colours, which, as I say, is my new favourite thing at the moment. So I do succumb to using a heat gun here just to dry off that layer, and then that will let me put some more colour on the top. So I'm also using another little stamp from my stash. This one I'm going to use Distress Oxide ink just to add a little tiny bit more texture without it being too fussy. So I love those colours, and I'm just going to water those down a little bit and maybe do a bit more. So nothing too fussy really, just something just to add a very subtle amount of texture. Although I don't do white space normally, I think this is probably one of my favourite layouts I've made from this kit. I think it's good to step outside your comfort zone, isn't it really? So I probably wouldn't have done that had it not been for the recipe challenge. So thank you girls for setting such a great challenge. And I hope you all have a go at this challenge this week. As always, we have a weekly challenge on the Facebook group, and it's very easy to enter. You create your layout based on the challenge, and then you can add it to the post in the group, and then you have a chance to win a $10 store credit, which is always very handy because there's lots and lots of lovely goodies to choose from. And then the weekly winners are announced on the Thursday, so you have a week to enter. But there's always loads of inspiration on the Facebook group, so do check that out. So I've laid down a couple of those hexagons already, and I've used one of the puffy stickers, I think came from the July main kit, as my title, just mainly because the colour matched perfectly with that background, and I adore those cardstock stickers, the little butterflies and flowers. Anything with a butterfly has got my vote. And I've just mounted that with a bit of foam tape, and then I'm looking at the wood veneer, and I think although there's lots and lots, I haven't used much of the wood veneer as such yet. I think I'm just going with that minimal design. So I've got one piece on there, and then I just end up swapping to the fabulous chipboard pieces from the Pocket Life kit. And this one's really long, so I'm just going to chop it in half and layer that up. So really that is going to be more or less it. I add a few more little bits and pieces to the final layout, and you'll see I also add some splatters with more of those shimmers and some black acrylic paint, just to add that bit of depth. I truly think actually this is one of my favourites, even though actually I sat in one session and started and finished it all in one go, which is a miracle for me. And so I'll leave you with the close-ups. I think the only thing you'll find that I did after this point was added one more hexagon and added some little gems to the final layout. So thank you very much for watching. I shall leave you with a bit of music and those close-ups. See you soon. Take care. Bye.